everyone! In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from the YouTube channel, the Game Theorists. I'm a huge fan of their work and hope that you will also like their content as well. Do support their channel and yeah, just support their channel and support my channel too. If you do like my channel, if you do like my videos, please consider to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Having said that, this video is like 2013, so it's around 8 years ago, but still, the quality is very nice. Let's get on with the video.
Hail this sprite full of grace. The entity is with thee. Nameless art thou amongst these characters, and blessed is your game among 16-bit titles. Holy this sprite, mother of Chrono, pray for us gamers now and at the hour of game over. In the name of the entity, Chrono, and the holy time space. Amen.
He was talking about Chrono! If you guys don't know, right, Chrono, the first ever game theory, touched on the Chrono games. Correct, yeah.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that verges on blasphemy for the sake of a clever opening.
YMCA.
Now, it's no secret that I love me some Chrono Trigger. I've gone on record to say it's tied for my #1 game of all time, and even made the first episode of the series all about how it portrays time travel because of my deep, manly affection for it. But not once, in the countless times I've time-hopped my way to stopping the end of the world, did I ever see the real story behind Chrono and his pals. Here I was, foolishly believing I was drag racing through a post-apocalyptic garbage heap, or dueling against an ambiguously sexed mage, when in actuality I was reenacting the story of Jesus Christ. How could I have been so blind, right? Forgive me for missing the obvious clues here. How could I have possibly forgotten the verse in Leviticus where Jesus challenges the mutant Hot Wheel to a race? Or that part in John chapter 2 where Jesus kills the dinosaurs? Or that oft-forgotten psalm where the nuns transform into... Okay, yeah, you get the point. Maybe the signs aren't all that
Caution, water on road during rain. Duh.
obvious. But when you look behind the magical realms, prehistoric characters, and plot objectives ripped out of 2001: A Space Odyssey, you have a game that, at its core, has you playing through many key moments from the Holy Book. So climb aboard your time machine, ladies and gents, and be warned, because there be spoilers ahead as we take a crash course through some of the Bible's greatest hits. Skeptical? Okay, all you doubting Thomases out there in the comments, here's a quick one right off the bat. Ever wonder why the three gurus, Gaspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, have such weird names? It's because they're named after the three wise men that visited the newly born baby Jesus, coincidentally named Gaspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. Additionally, they came offering gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What purpose did Chrono's wise men provide? To give him the gifts of the Masamune, the Wings of Time, and the Time Egg. And if I failed at pronouncing that name, give me some credit here, because when I was 7 and playing this game,
He looks so young, my bad. It's not young, he looks so young. And childish, literally childish.
call it the Mesamune, so steps in the right direction, guys. And as anyone who has ever sung a Christmas carol can tell you, the Bible's wise men are from the Far East. Where do their 16-bit equivalents live? The eastern part of the world map, specifically Melchior and Medina Village. But that's just the tip of the Wonder Rock. You see, in real life, Medina is the name of Islam's second holiest city, the burial place of the Prophet Muhammad. That is, unless you're talking about Medina, which is instead a small town in Ohio and birthplace of me. Anyway, the Quran...
Of me. That's a Power Ranger reference. Oh gosh.
States that all non-Muslims should be cast out from the city. Notice that the game's Medina is also a holy city, this time for the mystics, your enemies in the game, and they worship their religious leaders in the town square. When Chrono and his merry band enter the city, they're immediately treated with hostility as the mystics recognize them as outsiders and quickly try to push them out. So that's a pretty strong connection between the SNES Medina and its IRL counterpart, but the Muslim connection goes even deeper. Back in 1095, the Middle Ages, Muslims and Christians fought one another during the Crusades. Funny enough, this directly parallels Chrono Trigger's Middle Age and the war fought between the mystics, again in the role of the Muslims, and the humans, aka the Christians. So across multiple time periods, Middle Ages and present, the imps and henches of Medina closely resemble the Muslims, with Chrono fighting them across time and space in the name of Christianity. But
Wow, that's a lot of religions reference.
Chrono's Christ connections continue. I wonder how fast I could say that. Chrono's Christ connections continue. Chrono's Christ connections continue. Chrono's Christ connections continue.
Chronos Christ connection continues. Chronos Christ connection continue. Chronos Christ connection continue. Oh my god.
Chrono's Christ connections continue. That's not as hard as I thought it would be. Probably the most obvious is Chrono sacrificing his life to save those of his teammates. In this moment, he dies at the hands of, or should I say beak of Lavos, only to be resurrected with the help of his friends. Death, resurrection, WWJD, something pretty similar. And although Jesus is often associated with upwards of 37 miracles throughout his life, only one outside of his resurrection takes place across all four Gospels, the feeding of 5,000. In short, Jesus was able to feed a crowd of thousands with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Chrono performs a similar miracle in the Middle Ages, when he takes a piece of jerky and uses it to feed an entire army of hungry men. It's a Christmas miracle. Still not convinced? Well, since we're talking
I remain unconvinced. The cat. Can you imagine my face is like that?
talking about miracles, look at Chrono's skill set. Isn't it odd that he's such a heavy offensive character, and yet for some reason, life is one of his spells? It's a little out of place until you consider that Jesus also had the magical ability to raise the dead. Specifically, Lazarus in the Gospel of John, a young boy in Luke chapter 2, and a young girl in Matthew 9.
It reminds me of the Yu-Gi-Oh card because it had been played so many times. Resurrection.
Then there's the question of his father. In all of Chrono Trigger, not once
死而复生 in Chinese.
is our hero's father ever mentioned. They could have just said that he died in a war or left home. Instead, Squaresoft chose to leave his parentage a mystery. Could this be a subtle nod to Jesus being born of a virgin? The Virgin Mary? Maybe, maybe not. But let's also consider the circumstances leading to Jesus' death. He had a Last Supper, was betrayed by a friend, tried for false crimes, and sentenced to die by the will of a group of Jewish men looking like this. What happens to Chrono? He has a Last Supper, gets betrayed by a friend, tried for false crimes, and is sentenced to die, all by the will of a corrupt man looking like this. And let's not kid ourselves, Yakra sounds pretty Jewish. One, maybe two of those things? Coincidental, yes. All of them happening in the same game? Coincidence? I think not. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, this show is good. To which I say thank you, I do my best.
Man, this show is good.
But the rest of you are probably thinking something along the lines of, well, Christ imagery is used in a lot of stories, so what makes Chrono Trigger different? The answer to that, bizarrely enough, rests with Lavos, the alien parasite that falls from the heavens only to embed itself into the earth and destroy most of the human race. As unbelievable as it sounds, that story actually exists in the Bible. Revelation chapter 8, quote, "The third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many died from the water because it was made bitter." End quote. So if any of you watched the miserable season 6 of Dexter, now you understand.
Sounds like a chemical weapon from from a long range missile, or maybe an international intercontinental missile, ballistic missile, carrying high weightage of chemical byproduct.
And the reference to wormwood. And in Chrono Trigger, the prehistoric people mistakenly identified Lavos as a falling star, just like in this Bible passage.
No, but it was a falling star, not a star that had been fired from one end to another end. It just happened to fall to the place with no intent.
It's also worth pointing out that
A third of the waters became wormwood, and many died from the water because it was made
wormwood kills many, but not everyone. Similar to Lavos' 1999 apocalypse, which leaves a handful of survivors. Now, if that doesn't make you a believer, I don't know what will. Oh, yes, I do. Let's talk about Scala. Shala. She's a young woman for.
Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-in. My god, the viewers in the the viewers in the audience will be so mad at me right now.
Forced by her mother, the queen, to summon Lavos. She's a girl clad in purple who's eventually absorbed into the alien beast, riding atop it as Lavos evolves into the Dream Devourer in Chrono Trigger DS. She's an innocent, forced to do evil, and serves as our final and strongest link to our Bible adventure. From Revelations chapter 17. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. The angel said to me, I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her. The beast you saw was, and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition, and those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. The 10 horns which you saw are the 10 kings who have received no kingdoms as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is Lord of Lords. A beast that exists and does not exist sure sounds like a creature that travels through time, space, and dreams. 10 horns representing 10 kings, oddly enough, coincides with Lavos' 10 forms, where he adopts the attack patterns of all your previous bosses. The fact that they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast seems like a direct parallel with Lavos only mimicking those bosses rather than them actually appearing, a la a boss rush like at the end of a Mega Man game. And of course, a woman arrayed in purple and scarlet riding atop the beast. Mind blown. And that's not even addressing the Mammon Machine, the godlike entity that controls the time gates, and the parallels between the prehistoric timeline and the Book of Exodus. Trust me, I had a great section all written out about that, and now I can't use the joke, "Let my people go!" Roar! And I'm sure there's more. Lots more. So play the game a second, third, 55th time, and see what you...
The 55th time become 55th time.
Can come up with. Because stuff like this, while convincing, can't become a fact until it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Until then, it's just a theory.
Lazy villagers helping lazy heroes get stuff done faster. You're interested in the moon star? Well, someone simply left it here.
A game theory. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to the super amazing end card tournament.
Super amazing end card tournament.
Where last episode the fight was taken out of the streets and into the annotations. Cammy versus Chun-Li was the closest match yet, but in the end our barely legal amnesiac took it over the human helicopter, 13% to 11%. This week, something that's sure to prompt a lively discussion in the comments: which is the better RPG, Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger? Granted, I recognize that this is a Chrono Trigger episode, but I think that if you're a fan of one, you're probably a fan of both, so I'm curious to see where this one falls out.
I think that is Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy have a lot more sequence than Chrono Trigger.
Click on one to choose, and while you're clicking away, make sure you click on the old subscribe button, because this channel does its best to deserve your vote on a weekly basis. Game Theory 2014.
Ah, you put a subscribe button down there. It's like trying to say to the audience, if you do like this video, please consider subscribe, share, like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to say. And well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say that it's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.